I am going to get started here because it's now 5 after, and I'm going to kick off the presentation. Aditi, if you don't mind just like checking in on that chat issue, hopefully we can get that fixed. I am thrilled to have such a big group for this webinar today, and I'm so excited to dive into things and raise some money for this wonderful project that we have. If you're new here or you're just joining, I'm inviting everyone to introduce themselves in the chat by writing your name, write where you're joining from, and whatever information you feel like sharing. During this webinar, I want people to feel free to use the Q&A, the chat, and we'll try to answer things as we go along. But then, of course, afterwards, there will also be a dedicated Q&A period for you to ask all your questions and have them answered by our team or by Ryan here.
Hi, my name is Philip Akoje. I'm joining from St. Catharines. I think my chat is blocked too. Yeah, Philip Akoje.
Welcome, Philippa. Thanks for introducing yourself. So I'll start with a land acknowledgement. I acknowledge that our organization, Goparity Canada, is headquartered on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And I'm personally blessed to be joining this webinar from Toronto. The name Toronto actually originates from the Mohawk word Toronto, which means the place in the water where trees are standing. And once again, if you haven't done so already, I invite you to acknowledge the land in which you're joining from and take a moment to recognize the history and the stories that shape the land that you live on. Today, I am going to give a super fast overview on impact investing for those of you who might be less familiar with the concept, but I want to make sure I'm leaving lots of time for the really good stuff to talk about this incredible project, the impact of this project, and to hear from Ryan from ACBN, who will walk us through his perspective. I'm just going to launch a really quick poll in the chat. Hopefully those of you who are having difficulties with the chat will still be able to use this. But yeah, just want to hear how you have heard about this webinar, and it'll just help us get some feedback on what communications are working so well since we have such a lovely big group today. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. Again, the bot is disabled. Thank you.
Oh.
What I might do is I'll exit and rejoin. That's
okay.
another option too. Thank you.
Yeah, you could try that. And if it's, it's Classic Teams webinar, there's always these little glitches that seem to happen. So yeah, if that doesn't work, then please let us know if the Q&A feature is working. That's the important one, and we can communicate with that one. All right, so let's move on to impact investing. So what is impact investing? The textbook definition of impact investing is making investments that have positive, measurable social and environmental return. Impact investing is not a clean fund or a green fund or an ESG, environmental social governance investment. Those terms are more of a label, a signifier that your investment has considered some environmental and social value factors. Impact investing really takes things a step further by allowing investors to see the tangible impact that their dollars are creating. So impact investments can tackle a variety of challenges. And to give you an idea of what some of these might be, we can look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, cover a broad range of social, environmental, and economic issues like reduced inequalities and climate action. They were developed by the United Nations in 2015 and had individuals, governments, organizations alike come together to decide to support these goals. So globally, we need $5 trillion invested every year into the Sustainable Development Goals to achieve the UN's agenda for 2030. Yet every year we're falling short of this target. Now, impact investing is a way that we can directly invest into projects that support these goals. In fact, if we make impact investing more accessible to everyday Canadians, we could be meeting this goal. So there's a term for the top 1% of Canadians called accredited. And if we remove that top 1% from the picture, non-accredited Canadians, so everyday people, have more than enough money to meet this global target for impact investing. So that's a lot of power in the hands of Canadian citizens. And if we can redirect even a small portion of that wealth into impact investments, we will create change where it matters most. And that effectively is what Goparity is all about. So we help everyday people invest in their community, invest in their planet, and profit off of those investments. We work with small and medium-sized Canadian organizations, all private organizations, no public. And these organizations are working on incredible projects that generate positive, measurable impact while also being profitable. Now, how does it work? We're an online investment platform licensed by the Ontario Securities Commission as an exempt market dealer. And when you create a Goparity account, you'll be able to browse socially and environmentally aligned investment opportunities like the one that we're promoting today, just like family. So when you take a look at a project like this one on the screen, you can see the terms of the investment are all laid out in front of you. And this is because all of our investment opportunities are debt. So when you make an investment, you'll see it has a risk rating, an annual interest rate, a repayment schedule, and the term of the investment or length of time until all of your money is paid back. You'll also see this progress bar with how much of the project has been raised from other investors like yourself. And we use a crowd lending model to make these investments as accessible and flexible as possible. So we pool many investments ranging from a minimum of $10 up to $10,000 or more. So you can commit to investing whatever you're comfortable with, and you don't pay any fees to invest. So the borrower, in this case ACBN, will pay back the loan in monthly installments, which would include a portion of the principal amount you invested plus interest. And Goparity earns revenue by charging fees to the company that is borrowing the money. That's effectively our model. And speaking of the company borrowing the money, I'd like to shift gears away from Goparity, talk about the real stars of the show today, which is ACBN. I will circle back at the end of the presentation to talk about financial aspects of this project, the risks with this type of investment, and of course, exactly how you can invest in this project and get your $50 from us. But before we get there, I am going to hand it off to my colleague Aditi, who is our Sustainability and Community Coordinator here at Goparity Canada. Aditi will tell you the story of this project, which is the most important part of any impact investment.
Thanks for that intro, Emily. So hi, everyone. So great to see so many people out today to chat about ACBN, just like family. So I'll do a little bit of an intro here around ACBN, just like family, and then I'll hand it over to Ryan, who is going to give us a really great overview of kind of a perspective from inside ACBN and inside this project on what's going on, what the impact might be, how this project came about. So for your context, ACBN is, and if you haven't heard of it before, it's the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. It's an organization dedicated to empowering Black entrepreneurs by providing a supportive ecosystem filled with resources and mentorship. And so what what is resources and what is mentorship? Well, there's a few different ways that they offer that. But they're really supporting entrepreneurs at every single stage of their journey. So they have a business accelerator program where they're able to provide training, resources, networking opportunities. They also have a microloan program. They do investment readiness. They do some work with youth in the community. So all around supporting entrepreneurs in really every stage of their journey. And they also host regular workshops, networking, mentorship sessions, and I'll say they also have a very strong community where entrepreneurs are coming together to learn, to connect. And so in terms of a track record, they've helped over 6,000 entrepreneurs. On the next slide here, 6,000 entrepreneurs supported since being founded in 2017, with over $1.25 million in microloans delivered. So as you can see, it's pretty huge impact in just a few short years. So ACBN we have as a network-based organization doing a lot of great work in the community. And then we also have another organization, which this project is funding, called Just Like Family. So what is Just Like Family? Just Like Family is a organization in the format of a franchise that's all about providing compassionate, personalized care to those who need support. And so this might include elderly individuals, those recovering from a medical incident, and they're able to provide support right in the comfort of their own homes. So the mission is really to enhance the quality of life for seniors, for example, by making sure that they feel safe, supported, cared for. And what exactly do they offer? There's a few different services, but some that I'd like to highlight are companionship, social outings. They also provide specialized care, as I mentioned, for those who maybe just went through hospitalization and need support recovering. And so what's really great about Just Like Family is that each and every franchise is locally owned. So the people that you're getting support from are the people living in your community. The people you're talking to on the phone are also the people in your community. And so there's this really great localization aspect to Just Like Family that ACBN is going to be tapping into. So with this context, ACBN, Just Like Family, but how do they actually come together? ACBN is currently in the process of acquiring a Just Like Family franchise with the dual purpose in mind. So on one hand, we have this really great social purpose of supporting and providing essential home care services to seniors, to the aging population, to those who need support. But also by offering these services, ACBN is addressing the growing need for quality home care in the community. And I know we're all aware that the population and the age groups are currently growing and growing. And so that kind of segment and demographic that's within the home care, within the elderly community is just continually increasing. So there's a huge need for home care right now. And then the other perspective here is that by acquiring this franchise, ACBN is also creating another revenue stream that can support their core mission of empowering Black-owned businesses. So it's not just about running a franchise, it's about using this business model to generate consistent income that will help fund ACBN's programs, mentorship, supporting entrepreneurs. And so it's kind of this win-win situation where we have really great community benefits, but at the same time, community benefits for seniors, for those who need help, for those who need support. But at the same time, ACBN is gaining a really reliable source of revenue to further empower their core mission of supporting Black entrepreneurs. So super exciting project, super interesting and aligned collaboration between Just Like Family and ACBN. And on that note, I would like to introduce Ryan O'Neill, the co-founder and director of ACBN. Ryan has really been instrumental in building ACBN, which started in 2017, into a really key support network for Black entrepreneurs. And today he'll just give you a little bit of a perspective, a window into their journey, the vision behind acquiring the Just Like Family franchise. And on that note, I want to hand it over to you, Ryan.
All right, wonderful. Much appreciated, DT. And thank you to those that are joining us this evening. I know there's so many things that you can be doing with your time. So taking a bit of that time to spend with us is truly valued and not lost on me. For those that might not know who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, and also an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights, which is a mobile waterless car wash franchise. So I'm going to tie those two in together in a moment. But with ACBN, we support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in so that we can create a strategy with them to grow their companies exponentially. And over the past 6 years, we really have been able to help a good amount of entrepreneurs, but shift from just info sessions and networking events to actual capacity building. And as was mentioned earlier, we've been able to support over 6,000 Black entrepreneurs. We started a microloan program and have partnered with other funding programs so that we could get over $1 million into the hands of entrepreneurs. But also we started a social enterprise, which was a marketing agency. So we work alongside entrepreneurs that get the funding to make sure that we can increase their marketing and sales. So the reason this opportunity was really important to us was twofold. One, it was a chance for us to really walk the talk or talk the walk, but put our money where our mouth was. So we, over the last 6 years, have been supporting entrepreneurs and guiding them in how to structure their business and grow their business. And now we have an opportunity to take over a franchise and create and put all those practices into place. And now the benefits from those profits would help ACBN to be sustainable, which is the second reason that it's so important, because we've seen different funding, and especially one that ACBN was part of, where it's ending, and I would say it's ending December, but we have been able to find additional grants to continue our programs. But the feeling that we got when our funding, we realized that it was not going to be renewed, and that gut-wrenching feeling of having to let people go, or just feeling like you have to let people go, or you're scrambling to figure out, okay, what's the next move? Where are we going to get money from? Being able to now control more of our own destiny by having a business that generates enough revenue and enough profits that the profits from it can actually help to run the nonprofit. And that's where a lot of my experience has been in the franchise world with the Detailing Nights company I was running. And I know the benefit of having structures and systems in place that you can now give a business in a box to somebody else to run, and that person be able to make a living and pay for their livelihood with that business in a box that you created. So being able to meet the founder, the franchise or owner, Carla Leon, but also learning that Just Like Family was actually purchased by a church group. So that church now owning the franchise rights, they're the franchisor, makes this more of a social enterprise actually owned by a nonprofit and a charity. So it wasn't just about going out and finding any franchise that ACBN could purchase and it would make enough money to make sure we're sustainable. We wanted to be purposeful with the type of franchise that we are obtaining, and Just Like Family checked those boxes. And one key box that it checked was allowing us to bookend the type of support that we do in the community. So if you know me, you know I do a lot of work with youth in the community, especially underestimated high school students or those out of school and coming out of detention, to show them that entrepreneurship is a viable option, so they don't feel like they don't have options. They can start a business, and by starting a business now, they're able to chart their own path and control their destiny. So we've done a lot of work in the youth space, but we've never really focused and done much in the senior space, even though our population is aging so rapidly that there's going to be a big influx of seniors coming in the future. Yet ACBN, myself, Ryan, and our team, we didn't have any specific programming or supports to help seniors in the community. Now being able to take on this franchise that specifically works with seniors in our community to offer that care, and also to help the caregivers, because a lot of us know that that person that has children and also parents that they're trying to take care of, this sandwich generation. So that caregiver needs a break. And I feel like what we can do with this franchise is actually offer that break to caregivers by offering quality care to our seniors. So really being instrumental in the community to show that we're not just kind of behind a computer screen. We're not just, doing workshops, doing webinars. We are actually in the community, touching families, making sure that they know that we're here to support them. And just like family is giving us that opportunity. One other thing that I wanted to touch on was this becoming a blueprint that we can replicate. So yes, ACBN, we're part of the Black entrepreneurship ecosystem. There's other organizations that might struggle to obtain funding or don't want to be tied to one type of funding. If we can get this right, and especially with the help of Goparity, being able to raise the dollars needed to then acquire a franchise that generates enough revenue that our nonprofit is sustainable, this is something that we would like to duplicate and show other organizations that they can do as well. So beyond us being benefiting from having this franchise and benefiting from the support of those of you that are here and those of you that are going to support us, it's now taking this as an example, a case study that we can show other nonprofits and other community members how we can actually use this as a blueprint to make sure that most of our organizations are sustainable, and also looking for more partners, because this is not going to be the only franchise that ACBN buys. So now in the future, we want to partner with more people from the community so we can go after more profitable franchises together. So ACBN can actually help you obtain a franchise and be profitable. So it's really a win-win-win for the entire community and us going forward. One last thing that I wanted to touch on was, nope, I said the blueprint. So just to wrap up, I did want to say thank you to the Goparity team. And again, always thank you to those that are joining us and taking your time to be with us. I feel like this can be a blueprint of things to come. So don't think of it as a one-off and we're just going to kind of do this once. I feel like if we can really get this packaged right and the process on point, we can duplicate this and really be creating this as a way forward instead of just a one-off program. So thank you so much. I'll give it back to you, Aditi.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Yeah, I always love hearing your perspective and how this fits kind of strategically within ACBN's broader vision. It's just such an aligned acquisition of the franchise. So thank you for that. So what's next? I want to give you guys a little bit of a overview of what the impact in terms of Goparity standards, where it sits and how we measure it. So we actually align our impact measurements with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so the SDGs, if you're familiar, which really help us to understand, broadly what's happening on a global scale and how we see that reflected within our communities. So for this project specifically, we've identified some key alignments, specifically with SDG number 3, good health and well-being, SDG number 8 for decent work and economic growth, and SDG number 10 for reduced inequalities. So all around some really amazing impact. And we really rely on the IRS and the GIN from the GIN network, which is a framework for measuring impact in investments. So it's a globally accepted method, and we apply it to all the investments here at Goparity. So what does this impact actually look like for Just Like Family ACBN within the next year? We're anticipating that through supporting ACBN in acquiring a Just Like Family franchise, that they'll be able to create up to 18 to 20 caregiver jobs that support the local employment in Midtown East Toronto, which is the region in which the Just Like Family franchise will operate. In addition to that, there will be 20 individuals, 20 people who will directly, 20 to 25, who will directly benefit from these personalized home care services. And so the jobs that we're able to create and that you're able to create from funding this kind of project is also going to be able to support those who need that additional care, who need caregivers. And so it's this really amazing impact on both the sides of economic empowerment, but also back to that good health and well-being we see a little bit on each side. So on our website, you can actually dig a little bit more into the qualitative, quantitative impacts of this project. And so at the core of it, it's really about fostering economic growth, community development, supporting those who need support. And so also increasing revenue for ACBN. So it's a all around really great impact, really aligned. And I just want to touch really quickly on financial viability. So if you take a little visit to our website, you'll notice towards the end, we have a section about financial viability, and it's always important to look at when you're assessing an investment. But just quick highlight. So we're currently raising $90K through this campaign, which will go towards the franchising fee. So you'll see that reflected, that information all comes through in the campaign. And then in terms of projections for the future, the franchise has been operating with stable revenue for several years. And so we're projecting, and ACBN is projecting nearly $125K in EBITDA by the end of 2025. So not looking too bad on the financial side, but you need to take a look at the viability, take a look at the use of funds and see if it's aligned with you. But yeah, so those are the use of funds. That's the impact. And on that note, I do want to hand it back over to Emily to talk a little bit more about some of the risks associated with this investment, in addition to how you can actually get involved.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Aditi, and thanks as well to you, Ryan, for being here and shedding such a great light on your side of the story. To get down to, I guess, the nitty-gritty stuff, for any Goparity project, our key investment terms are displayed right at the front. So you can see that the Just Like Family investment is over a 4-year term. That means you won't get all of the money you invested and all of your interest back until 4 years after this project closes. The project pays on a monthly basis, so although you won't be getting all of your money back until 4 years into the future, after 2 years, you can expect to have about half of your money back, plus interest for that half. But if you're like me and you struggle to do mental math on the spot, especially when it involves percentages, we have developed a simulation feature. So before you make any investment, you can simulate what that might look like, see your expected payback, your interest over time, and all of that in a really nice visual way. So there is a QR code on the screen. If you want to try that now, you can go ahead and scan it while I review the risks of this investment. So I always like to talk about the risks of every investment we have on the Goparity platform. Generally, since they're all very similar types of investment, they'll have the same types of risk associated with them. And I think it's really important to know in a full transparency kind of way. Yes, I can. Maybe Aditi, can you drop the QR code in the chat for our simulation feature? That would be awesome. So I'll get started with liquidity risk. So I pretty much just spoke about this one, but I'll reiterate it. When we loan money, it's for a set period of time. So this is a 4-year loan. If you invest $1,000, you won't get that $1,000 back until 4 years into the future. So you need to make sure that you're financially comfortable investing your money and putting it away for that amount of time. What we do at Goparity to combat this is set up monthly principal repayments. So part of your invested capital, let's say $1,000, is coming back to you each month and spread across 4 years. So you'll have some of your invested capital even after the first month, but you won't have access to all of it until the end. So you have to make sure that you're comfortable putting that money away for a while. The next is interest rate or duration risk. So this project pays an interest rate of 6.05% a year, and that's a fixed rate. So over the course of 4 years, this interest rate is locked in. But external to this project, interest rates could increase or decrease, making 6.05 less favorable compared to borrowing rates in the future, or it could make it more favorable. So you want to make sure you're comfortable earning that interest rate no matter what may or may not happen in the future. And the last risk is default risk, and this is the big one. So what happens if it is unable to pay back the loan? What if they go bankrupt or something catastrophic happens. And, with business loans, this is always a consideration because it's a possibility. You have to ensure that even in the worst case scenario, if that worst case scenario does happen, you are going to be financially okay and comfortable with losing that money. On our end, we take a lot of precautions to assess that risk, and Aditi touched on it when she talked about the financial viability. We welcome you to read the financial viability section of this project, because for this project specifically, this Just Like Family franchise has been operating for several years. It's expected to generate steady revenue through its services, which provides a reliable income stream to support ACBN's ability to service the loan. So because of that, our risk team has given the project a B rating. Feel free afterwards, if you're curious to know a bit more about how we come up with our risk ratings, you can ask us about that or visit our FAQs. And once again, I'll refer you to the financial viability section of our project page. Okay, so now that you are aware of the risks, you can try the simulation feature. I see it's being put in the chat. That's awesome. Thanks, Aditi. Now that you've also learned about ACBN, Just Like Family, Goparity, you've maybe even simulated what your investment might look like. Now you're ready to invest your $50 free into this project. And yes, it will be available as a recording. So just listen carefully to this steps specifically. So if you create a Goparity account with this link, I have the QR code there. I also have the link below, and we'll send you an email reiterating this information after the fact, so don't panic too much. But if you want to do it right now, you can go ahead and do that. But use this link, then the $50 voucher will be automatically added into your account. So use the QR code or go to the link on the screen, create an account using your email and create a password. And once you've done that first step, the voucher will be saved and you can continue your sign up at any point. So the first part of Goparity sign up process asks you for some personal information. Right off the bat, we ask you for your SIN number. We need this for tax purposes. We report to the CRA, and if your investment income with Goparity exceeds $50 for that tax year, then you need to report that on your taxes too. If that is the case, we'll provide you with a tax slip, but we need your SIN number to do all of this legal reporting. You'll also notice we ask you some financial questions. We never want you to invest more than what you can afford to lose, so we will place investment limits when necessary. We also want to make sure you understand this is a high-risk investment. All private market investments in Canada are classified high risk by securities regulators. So making sure you understand the risks, you're not investing more than you can afford to lose, and you're being totally legally compliant to make an investment. If you have any questions or doubts, you can book a meeting with our team, and we are happy to walk you through the sign-up process one-on-one. And tax receipt. So if your investment income with Goparity exceeds $50, so you earn $50 in interest in a single tax year, then we will send you a T5 slip. I believe it's T5. I could be mixing it up with T4, but a tax slip to claim your investment income and file it with the CRA. So the next thing is, what if you already signed up for Goparity before this webinar? That's not a problem. You can log into your Goparity account. On your dashboard, you'll see a button that says Redeem Gift Card. You can also find this button in your settings, but it'll also be on your main homepage. And then there you click on that and enter the code ACBN. It's right there on the screen, 4 letters, and the voucher will be applied. Once you've signed up, you'll access your Goparity dashboard. You'll see your e-wallet. You can either top up your wallet now so you have money there that you can invest, or you can reserve an investment first and then top up. This way you ensure that you're securing a spot in this investment. So let's explore that second option that I said, which is reserve and then top up. So you click on the Just Like Family project. You'll see this in your open investment section on your user dashboard. And when you're ready, you can click invest. If you say you want to invest $100, sorry, I should say, when you invest, your voucher will be automatically applied. So if you want to invest $50, then that's just the voucher amount and you won't be investing any of your own money. If you want to invest $100, then you'll be taking the $50 voucher and 50 of your own dollars, and you get the point. The voucher will always be automatically applied to your investment. If you don't have enough funds in your wallet to meet the desired investment amount, so if you just went straight to this step and you wanted to invest more than $50, the button will say reserve. So click the reserve button, you sign a note purchase agreement, and then you follow the prompt to top up your wallet. You can top up your wallet two ways. So you can do it with a bank transfer, which does take a few days to process, but it requires knowing your online banking information or having all of your direct deposit information. You can also top up just with an e-transfer where you'll get an email from your bank for a money request, and you just need to accept the request on that email. And once you've done that, after you've made an investment, you'll be done. And as you invest more and more, you can see the impact that your dollars make. So to stay up to date, you can follow Goparity, you can follow ACBN and Just Like Family on LinkedIn, Instagram, and keep an eye out for upcoming projects updates on Just Like Family. And with that, we can move to Q&A.